Guess who's back? It's been a while. It's been a minute. What's it now? About 5 years since I last did a review. Quite a lot of changes. New country, new car, back in an M car. I'll get onto that in a second. But yeah, had a little break from the car reviews. Still was living my petrol head life. Still had quite a few cars. So I think C63, 911, G-Wagon. I'll do another review on that to give you an honest opinion on that car. KN Coupe. Had quite a few in the few years that I've been away, but back now. I've come back home to an M car, and yeah, I think it's time to kick off the page again, kick off the reviews, and I think let's get into it. So yeah, I'm back in an M car finally, gone full circle. After being out in Dubai, having SUV after SUV, because the roads here and the way everyone drives, you feel safer in an SUV. But I thought, you know what? I need to get back into a proper sports car. And what no better than getting back to an M car. So I was doing looking around. Naturally, I wanted to get the M3, the G80 M3. As I was looking for one, I came across an M4. And I was like, hang on a minute. I haven't had an M4 before. Why not do something different? So I went down, shout out to Blackline Motor Company, best in Dubai. And there was this very nice, well-presented M4 competition X-Drive. Took it for a spin, not gonna lie. Fell in love straight away. And I thought, gotta jump into it. Gotta come back, come full circle, get back into an M car and have some fun again. So yeah, here I am. The colours you've seen, there's the yellow, green. People say it's green, people say it's yellow. I think it's yellowish. It's a loud colour. I'm not gonna lie, as you saw with my M3, the red, that was a loud colour as well. So it's a very loud colour. But I think in a climate where it's sunny all the time, it's a perfect colour to have. And it hides the dust and the sand bit as well, not gonna lie. So happy with the colour, happy with the performance of it. And just day-to-day owner review, had it for 6 months now. I can't complain. Every drive is enjoyable, is fun, find new things up with the car. I can't complain whatsoever. But let's get into it a bit more. Let's get into the finer details of it. So I'm sure as you all may know, the car's been around for a while, so the stats and the figures aren't going to surprise you. But under the hood, you've got a 3-litre twin-turbo, straight-six engine, S58 engine, and it's been marked as one of the best BMW engines. And I must say, I can't disagree. Like, it pulls the power, the reliability, you can push it. 510 brake horsepower, a massive step up from the previous M3, M4 generation. And then you've got the 650 Newton meters of torque as well. So I mean, power for days, massive step up. You're talking, for a daily car like this at this price level you're getting at it, can compete with pretty much anything on the road. Obviously, when you go on track, then you can get found out quite quickly. But on the road, unless you're driving like a maniac, off the light, especially being X-Drive, it's quick, handles well around the corners, and it gives you everything you need. And the gearbox is reliable, it's quick. I've only had one instance when I've been pushing it, and it's kind of stuttered a bit. But apart from that, through the gears rapid, down through the gears rapid. You can have fun with the paddle shifters and everything. And I often do that when I want to have a bit of fun, to put it into the paddle. Obviously, you get to the speeds where you need to brake quite quickly, and you're braking the speed limits. And anybody who's been in Dubai, there's like a speed camera after every kilometre, so you really can't get away with speeding. Not that you should be speeding people. That's what the tracks are for. And a good thing out here is the tracks are very accessible. So I'm going to track this properly. I'm going to put some proper lap times in, do some proper launches, and actually show the true performance of it. And then when we get new cars on the page, on the channel, we're going to track them as well. And we're going to see which ones do the best lap times. And I'm not a racing driver. Put it out there right now. I'm quite a good driver, but I'm not a racing driver. So I think it's good to see when you take a car, a daily car, and put it on the track as your normal everyday driver, what cars are going to give you the most confidence, the best lap times. Someone's had an accident there, not surprised. They're arguing, It's good to see which cars give you the most confidence, give you the quickest times, and do it in consistent conditions as well, because it's super hot here. We're doing it at the same times. We just give reliable times and honest times, and then we just keep doing it and see, and the leaderboard, which cars perform best round as your daily driver cars. We're not going to be taking, modified track cars round, because that's not fair. We're going to take your daily cars that you can, have some fun with and push pushed to the limits. So yeah, that's it. That's it, really. As soon as you put it down, it pulls straight away. You're hitting good speeds effortlessly, which is insane. You know, I'm used to M3 that wants to just slide around. Look, plant it now. Traction is impressive. And it's nimble, confidence. Anytime you want to move it, you point it, it goes where you need to go. You can have fun with it. Every day you can have fun with it. You don't need to push it. It's a great just to cruise around. But when you want to push it, have a bit of fun, open it up a little bit, you know, it's there for you to do it. And it sounds great. Well, is it a stop exhaust? We'll get onto that in a minute. But it sounds great. Gives you confidence. Not that we're treating the streets as a racetrack, of course, but it just gives you confidence when you want to put your foot down. You know, it sounds good. You want to hear it go through the gears. You want to hear it rev high. It's just an all-round enjoyable experience. And to be honest, it's something that I've missed not being in an M car. So I don't think many other cars give you the thrill that M cars do. And that's not just the M4, the M3, M2, M5, even the big SUVs, like an XM7 or M7 M60i, like, they're just consistently great cars. The BMW, take my hat off once again, you've created an incredible car. Now, I remember one controversial topic when this first was released, this generation of M3, M4, was the style. Everyone liked the overall style, the rear, the side profiles, the interior, but the front grille was something that caused a lot of controversy. And I must admit myself, I said, never going to buy the car. I hate the front grille. It looks ugly. What have they done? They've ruined it. Rest in peace, M3, M4s. Rest in peace. All that rubbish. I said it. But now, honestly, it's grown on me. And I think it looks aggressive. It looks mean. It looks sporty. Especially when you move the license plate away from the middle so it doesn't cut in half and you have the full grille on show. It looks menacing. And I think it's one of them ones that over time, and I've spoken to people as well who had the same opinion as me and they actually love it. They've owned M3s, M4s. And they've actually come to love it as well. And I must say, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't have a smaller grille. I know some people came up with some like aftermarket variations or what it could look like, but I think they've done a good job to keep it aggressive. And every time I look at it, say credit, it looks aggressive, looks sporty, it looks like a proper sports car. So no complaints whatsoever. And it's definitely one that over time has got better and better. In terms of the rest of the car, I mean, the side profile looks sleek, looks typical BMW, you know, the wheels, once again, the diamond cut wheels, they're proper nice and sporty. And then the rear is just nice and slender. Once again, nice little spoiler on the back to finish it off. It just looks proper. You can't complain. And then the carbon roof traditional. It's just a very well-rounded car. Apart from the front grille, which caused controversy, there's nothing else which I'd say I can fault. It looks like an M car. It definitely drives like an M car. You have some fun with it as well. You can do a lot of modifications. I know some people have done some nice loans, spaced it. You can wrap them. And that's something I'm debating with as well, you know. Do I keep this colour or do I go back to the satin red? And I've seen more and more satin reds around. So it won't be as unique as it was back in the day with the M3, but still, I think the satin red on this, with the black finishing and the black details and the light interior, it's playing on my mind. So I might have to do it. Have some fun with this colour for a bit and then maybe switch up. Now, I think one of the things that I love about the car is the interior. It's just typical M car. You sit in it, you feel like you're a racing driver, like you're set up to perform in the car. Like, just can't complain. The seats are comfortable. I haven't got the bucket seats, but they're comfortable, these ones. You've got all the best technology you could think of in the car, as well as when you want to really have some fun, you can put it into sport mode. You get the rev counter on the heads-up display. You get the simplified dash. When you're taking it on track, you can put your lap timers on there to see in real time how well you're doing versus the previous lap. And I think, you know, getting all of this from a daily car is just unbelievable, really. And when you're in the cabin, space, technology, everything you need. But then when you want to just have some proper fun, you could take all that away and it's just you, the dashboard and the car performing. So it's just the finishing touches. I'm trying to look at everything in here and just say it's carbon fiber. You know, you've got the gear, the gearbox in the M cars in this M4 is proper still. It's not manual, it's automatic, obviously, but it still feels like a proper gearbox. It's not these little flimsy things you get at Porsches now where you just tap it, you know, you flick it. What is that? That's one thing I hate about 911. Like, what is that? Come on. And then in your Mercedes, you've got it on the steering wheel. Like, I like how BMW have stayed true. You want some sort of gearbox with the buttons round it, and it just feels a bit proper still. Whereas these other cars have gone completely away from it. And I'm sure there'll be a day when BMW try and do something fancy with it, but when you get into a sporty car, you want to at least have some resemblance of history and credibility in it, and still having some sort of proper gearbox. It's not a flicky thing on the steering wheel, not a flicky thing down there. You want to have a proper gear knob. So credit to, I mean, I can't fault the interior. Being four-seater, there's still space in the back, so when guests come, passengers come, you can still have legroom in the back. It does feel a bit cramped if you're a bit tall, not gonna lie, but you've still got good leg room and you're still comfortable, especially being in a hot country as well. It's 45 degrees right now. The aircon, I can't fault it within minutes. You're cool, which is, I wouldn't say it's rare, but a lot of European manufacturers out here, they struggle with that a bit. Been in some Volkswagens and you don't ever get cool. And when it's 45 degrees plus, you need that AC to work. So yeah, I mean, that's a hot country problem. You're not going to care too much about that in other parts of the world. But I mean, yeah, Harman Kardon sound system. There's literally nothing more probably I could ask for from its interior. So yeah, once again, BMW, take my health, and it definitely feels good to be back home. The car isn't fully stock. It's had a little modification done to it. It's still stock engine, but it's not any stage 1, stage 2. It's harder to do on the S58 engine because of the restrictions to doing it. And I don't really see the point of doing that. Not out here, really. I don't want to risk ruining warranties and stuff like that. But it has had a cheeky exhaust upgrade. So it's got a Prapovic exhaust on it, which actually BMW recommend and fit out here for you. So you don't void any warranties, which is great. And I think it just makes the car sound that, not little, but actually substantially better, because the stock exhausts, they sound quite dull, a bit lifeless. Now, that's not necessarily intentional from these manufacturers. Now, with all the regulations, they have to tune down, put silencers on exhausts, and kind of muffle the sound. So it kind of limits their ability to do it. But with the Acura exhaust, it does bring it to life a bit more, and it sounds punchy, sounds loud, has a roar to it. And also when you're driving, you can hear, just now it's nice and calm. Then when I open up the exhaust, that exhaust note just, it completes the car, having the aftermarket exhaust, the Acura exhaust. It just, the final touch, because that's what's missing, honestly, it's the sound. Don't get bored of it. Now, it's not a V8, V10, V12, whatever you want to call it, but it sounds good. It sounds real good. It sounds good when you're hearing it from the outside, but it sounds real good from the inside as well. And if you just want to cruise around, you just keep it off, keep it closed. It's still got a nice sound to it, even closed, still got a nice sound to it, but you can just cruise around. And especially out here, you've got to be careful, can't make too much noise, otherwise your car gets taken away. And I don't want to get it impounded. And yeah, so if you're nice and cruising when you're out, you want to open up a bit, got the option to do that. One thing I would say as well is it does have a lot of the pops and bangs on it. Now, I'm not at that stage in my life where I want to be driving around, you know, communities in the streets with the, so I've turned that down, right down, you know. I'm not at that stage where I want to be doing that anymore. It's there if you want it. You know, some people still like doing that, but for me, I just like to hear a bigger roar from the engine, hear the engine come to life a bit. So that's why it's there. I'd 100% recommend. You don't need anything more, don't need anything else. I think this is the icing on the cake. So when I think about things that I don't like, about this car. A couple things come to mind quite quickly. Being X-Drive, it feels heavier, and it also takes away the thrill of what I used to love in my M3. The fact that you had to really be on your game when you're driving it. You can't just effortlessly plant it. You have to really thread the power in and keep control of it. But then also that thrill of the back end sliding out, the rear wheels getting excited. I think that's what you become used to for M car, you know. And I think taking that away, with once again it's X drive, you do have the 2-wheel drive option if you want to do that. But I'm just saying, as it is, without tweaking the settings, it takes the thrill away from it a bit. And I even think when I've done it in the 2-wheel drive, it still doesn't feel as raw and unrefined as the previous generation did. And I think for me, that's the only thing that I'd say in terms of the drive performance that I think could be improved a bit. But I know as cars come up with new releases, new generations, they've got to improve overall drivability. And I get why they've done it, but for me, then that's the only thing what I'd say that I don't like it. I guess that's kind of one of the negatives I could point out. So I say things I dislike about the car, and I wouldn't say it's a proper dislike, but one thing I think could be better is just the stock sound. You touched on it a minute ago with the aftermarket exhaust, but the stock sound could be better. You know, I know there's limitations, as I said, but they could still find a way to make it sound better, but still be within the regulations. You know, when you get into an M car, you want to hear a roar. When you put your foot down, you want to hear that theatre still. You know, and other manufacturers still have cars sounding great within the limitations. You know, you don't want to have to always look to get an aftermarket exhaust on your car. So yeah, I think the stock option could work well. Another thing which I'd say that I dislike slightly is the car feels really heavy. It feels heavier than the previous generations. Now, it feels less nimble. It feels like there's a bit more roll in it, especially when you're cornering quite hard. Whereas the older generations felt really light, you know, a lot more nimble. And also, you know, a lot more excitement when you're really pushing it. You can feel yourself sliding a bit. You get that feedback as well. That's another thing. You don't really get as good feedback in this car as you have with previous generations. It does at times feel very sluggish, a bit well too refined, shall I say? And that always sounds a bit weird saying that, especially as I'm not a race driver, I'm not a pro, but it feels at the point where the car's doing a lot of the work for you. It feels very refined, where previous generations, you had to really be on it. You had to, you know, had to be on your game, had to really, really stay on top of it and not push yourself past your abilities, else you will get found out. Now, obviously with this car, if you really pushed yourself, you would get found out as well. But being an X-Drive, it does add that layer of safety to it that the previous ones didn't have. And I felt like, you know, when an M car driver came out, you automatically thought, yeah, they're a driver. They're a good driver. Whereas here, honestly, anybody could just plant it and you're off. Now, that's, as I said, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But with me, I like to have like a learning curve from cars, you know, really learn the limits and how far you can push it to your own ability. Whereas this, honestly, you can jump in and drive it. And I remember when I did the test drive, the guy I was doing the test drive with was like, plant it, plant it. And at this time, I didn't even know it was X drive. I was like, okay. I thought, you sure you want me to plant it? Like, I can send it, you know, send it round quite quickly. But as soon as I planted it, I was like, this feels a bit weird, and found it's X drive, and it just felt, yeah, it just felt a bit like, what can I say? The older ones felt more off the leash. This one feels a bit too much on the leash. Now, as I said, for a daily driver, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I think it's lost a bit of the soul which made previous M cars great. It's still got a lot of it in there, don't get me wrong, but I think it's lost a bit of it. That it feels, yeah, it just feels, I'm struggling to really put in words. And anyone who owns this generation of M3, M4s, and also the previous one will 100% know what I'm talking about. It's not taking it away from being a great car, it's still an epic car, but it just doesn't feel as raw as the previous ones. And I miss that. I miss that when I jump in. I 100% miss that. But I don't miss it enough to not want to own this one. but I just missed that a little bit. I think the final thing I'd say that is a dislike. Now, it's not dislike for me because I don't plan to modify, tune the car, but I've heard that this generation and the S58 engine is a lot more limited to what you can do to put it to a stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, or whatever you want to do. They've made it harder to do that. Now, that was part of the fun, I think, of getting a previous M car. You could just literally take it down to a experienced and talented garage, and they could map it, they could tune it, you could dyno it, get extra performance out of it. And I did that on my M3, and the fact that you can do it, I guess, is difficult, but you can, could potentially crack a lot of warranties or crack the performance of the car. But, taking that possibility away as easy as it was before, we could take it to, a list of garages, people who knew how to do great things to the car in terms of tuning them up. The fact that's not there anymore, it's not even a consideration. If I change my mind, I think that's a bit of a shame as well, because that is part of the community. That's part of the BMW M community is, oh, what's that? Stage 1. Oh, what's that? Stage 2. Wow. Also, it takes that away a little bit. So that is a dislike. For me right now, it's not, I'd say a dislike, so I wouldn't do it anyway, but I think it's a shame they've taken that away because it's quite cool seeing, the cars, different stages, different performance, crazy things people have done to them. So yeah, I'd say that's the final thing. It's not massive, but yeah, just the final thing. Now getting on to the likes, and I'm going to summarize it because there is a lot of things I like about this car. Now the first thing has to be the engine. Like when I say it's relentless, it is relentless. I'm going to go as far to say I think it's pretty bulletproof because I've been pushing the car and not once has it felt to let me down. And it's instant. Honestly, it's instant. And I can't wait to get this on track and really push it and see what times I could put around that track in it and really push it to the limits because there's obviously only so much you can do on roads, but the engine itself, from what I've read and what I've seen and spoke with other M car owners, it's reliable. I don't know anybody or read much about any engine issues with this car. So, credit. I feel like I could just push the car whenever I want, constantly, and it wouldn't give up. So that for me is a massive and probably the most important thing that I like about this car. Another thing I like about this car, and I spoke about earlier, is I've come to love the look of the car. It just looks aggressive. I love the interior. The exterior looks great. I just think it is a well-designed car and all different colors, black, yellow, grey, all the wraps you can do to it. They all look great. And I think really they've got the design spot on. I can't fault it now. First, I said earlier, hold my hands up. I was not feeling it, but I've come to love it. And that is one of the things that I like about the car. And it is still a head turner. Honestly, the amount of times I put up in car park, people are like, nice car, love the car, nice M4. It's carried that over because the previous generation, you had that and there's still a nod of approval. I think deep down inside, every petrol head appreciates a good M car. And I think they have done a great job in carrying that on into this generation. So that's another thing. I mean, you can't buy a car you don't like the look of, right? You just can't do it. It could be the best performing car in the world. They could release the best BYD or best Tesla. I'm not buying it. I don't care. I'm not buying it. The engine could be fantastic. The 0 to 60 could be in 0.5 seconds. I'm not buying it because I don't think any of those cars look good. And I love the heritage that these cars have. Your BMWs, your Mercedes, your Audis, your Porsches, so on. The list is endless. I love the heritage and I love how Mercedes have lost their way. I'm not going to speak about Mercedes. I'd review a couple of Mercedes, but they've lost their way. And it's such a shame. They've lost their way, but BMW, Porsche, Audi, they've carried that heritage through. And I've seen a few sneak peeks of what the new M3, M4 could look like. And I hope they don't do that because I think that is then going really away from the heritage. Now, this was a bold statement, but there's still a lot of things internally in interior and still in the exterior that carry the heritage through. And I think that's what these newer cars coming through are missing, right? And I think for me, I want to be in a car that's a nod to the present, but also a nod and appreciation of the previous generations that have got it to where it is today. So yeah, the overall look, the interior, exterior, the M badge, this car does it proud. So yeah, hats off. Now, what I also like, and it's kind of something that I said that I also dislike a little bit because it's not as raw, but the handling is phenomenal. Honestly, this car gives you so much confidence and so much belief. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's something special. As I said, I dislike the fact the way it's so well refined. It feels like it's doing all the work, but at the same time, if this is your first sports car, if you're not experienced with driving high performance cars, this car 100% I'd say would be for you because you can push it, you can have fun, and you're not gonna spit yourself out and wrap yourself around the tree. Obviously, I'm not saying go be reckless. If you drive reckless, you will find out the hard way. But if you're someone who, when you're new into a sports car, you make the mistake of just planting your foot on the accelerator, the car is forgiving enough to let you get away with it. Obviously, in some angles, if you're going round a bend, a sharp bend, and you plant it, you could be in trouble. But just in general, you're not going to plant it on a straight and the back end's not going to catch you. That's not going to. So as a daily high performance, and it is high performance. So on paper, 0 to 63.4. I can tell you now that is way overestimated. I'm going to do it on track and do official time, but 3.2 easily done, probably less than that as well with the right conditions. So it goes. It really does go. So yeah, the confidence this car gives to handling is another thing that I really like, as well as dislike a little bit. I'd say the final thing that I really like, and I'd say it is important, especially now, getting a bit older, getting a bit of aches in the back, is the daily drive is actually really comfortable. You can take it out around the city. Bumps are still a bit hard, but not to the point where it feels like you're getting a rib shot or a back shot. It, it's easy to take around the city. It's easy on the motorways. You put in cruise control, sit back and relax. There's not a lot of outside noise, which is good. And then when you want to open up the engine and hear the roar, that comes through nicely. And this is a daily, it's a great experience. So you can just cruise as you want. You can push it a bit, get some performance. But I've never got out of the car and been uncomfortable. When I was in the 911, I had severe backache. And that was one of the things I didn't like about that, is that after a while, it was actually affecting like my lower back. I was in denial at the time. I used to love the car. I was like, nah, it must be some bad form in the gym. But I've not had any aches or pains in this car. Now, these aren't the bucket seats, so that may be different if I had the bucket seats in here. But just as this, it's just a smooth ride, but with the option to have the thrill in the theatre if you want to. So I think for me, it's comfortable, spacious in the back. Boot is quite spacious for a coupe as well. It's a great car to live with. And I think that is kind of where I'm going to end it. I think it feels good to be back home in an M car. Can't believe I've left it this long. I've always eyed up getting back in an M car, M5, M3 again. I never actually thought I'd be in an M4 until I saw this one, which literally had ticked all the boxes. The light interior, the nice exterior colour, which is unique, low mileage, service pack. Literally, just get in and go. So for me, I thought, why not give it a go? Let's go for an M4. Let's see what it's like. And I didn't have an extensive test drive. I mean, it was about 10 minutes. I didn't really get to really, really experience it. But it was enough to say, let's do it. And the technology, as I said earlier, you've got all the latest tech in it, everything you need. Not one complaint. And as a daily, I'd say it's probably up there with one of the best I've had. Trying to think if there's been any other dailies which I think this is it. I think this is probably one of the best daily drivers I've had. It's got everything ticks with the boxes. So yeah, I'm gonna have this for a while. I've got the aftermarket, the Acro exhaust on it, the aftermarket exhaust. In a few months after the summer, might put a cheeky wrap on it, switch it up a bit. So stay tuned, see what happens with that. And then yeah, I think the next thing is going to get this on track, and we're going to see what lap times we can do, what the performance really can do, and then yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, it's good to be back. I'm going to be creating the content again, different cars on the channel. I'm going to take you through the journey on this car, how we progress it, what we do with it, and yeah, stay tuned. But we're back, and we're going to be better than ever.